What's up, board game people? I hope everyone's had a great couple of months, and I apologize that it's been so long since I got one of these out. I'm finally caught up with all the videos I needed to make, and I had a bit of time on my hands, so I wanted to get a month in review, or in this case, several months in review, out the door. So let's go through the usual topics and see what I backed, skipped, or canceled, and what I've been up to over the last 3 months. First up, what came in? This is actually a bit lighter than usual, but I expect things to pick up heavily around September or October with so many campaigns that are targeting for deliveries then. I got a few sets of Chaos Space Marines in for my Warhammer 40k army off eBay, and I got them at a really great deal. I'm excited to start working on what will be my first fully painted 40k army. I also got a set of Adeptus Mechanicus for my wife. I took her to the Games Workshop store and made her pick out an army, and she definitely didn't care for Space Marines of any kind. She did like the heavier look of the Adeptus Mechanicus troops, and some of their lighter troops as well. Finally, I got my hands on a copy of Leviathan, so we'd have the new 10th edition rules, and because I've secretly always wanted a Tyranid army. I was hoping to teach my wife to play at Gen Con, so this will be instrumental in filling that gap. League of Dungeoneers came in. Mine didn't ship with everyone else's. But after one quick email, Michael got it all taken care of. It was here incredibly fast. The Witcher Old World came in. This was way more game than I was anticipating. It was so delayed that I had no idea if I got the big box and what else I'd gotten. It seems like I grabbed everything. Next up was just the playmats for Waste Knights. I hate getting random pieces so far ahead of the actual game, but I understand they had to ship these separately anyways, so now it gathers dust until the game actually arrives. Finally, I got Escape from Stalingrad Z in. This was such an impulse buy. It's something I'm trying to cut out of my backing strategy. Really hope I like it though. It seems simple and compact enough. So what did I back? Now, this is going to be a long list, so please don't judge me. It's gotten shorter in the last month, and I'm not backing anything at above $1 for the foreseeable future. And Trespass Odyssey got me with the Fates Pledge. What little I've played of it absolutely has me itching to get it back to the table, and I want it all. I'm sold on this series. The Fates Pledge gets the ATO stretch goals with the 12 Sins of Heracles with all the seasons. I got the Monster Hunter World Iceborne Hunter's Pledge. At the time I was thinking this was the all-in, but then they went and added more monster packs for the PM. I really want to get all those extras too. I didn't back the original Monster Hunter World, but I really wanted to get in on this one. I backed Apex Legends for the disc plate only. My wife and I play Apex, and she has some cool Bloodhound disc plates, and with Bloodhound being top and center on this one, I figured she'd like it. I'd love to get the game as well, but we'll have to see how long that pledge manager's open for. I had to grab Assassin's Creed, The Brotherhood of Venice, the Apocalypse expansion. I have the core game, and with all the good I've heard about the game, Apocalypse just makes sense. I'd love to grab the other 2 co-op expansions too, but I didn't pay for them up front, so it depends on the pledge manager closing date again. I backed Phantom Epoch at $1. I absolutely believe in this game. The $1 back is due to reasons I'll talk about in the channel updates section. I'm excited to see this game 100% complete and in everyone's hands so I can hear what others think. I backed the Tanaris Adventures Ultimate Campaign at the Returning Backers bundle with storage. I'd love to get the Deluxe Returning Backers bundle, but that remains to be seen. I backed Eldfall Chronicles at the $3 Pledge Manager access level. I have to say I'm not a fan of them charging more than $1 for access to the Pledge Manager. I think you're just running up the score with a $3 or £3 pledge or whatever it is. As for the game itself, I'd be disappointed if I cannot lay it back. It looks fun and the minis look great. I backed Escape from Project Reese at $1. I haven't opened the first game yet. How the heck should I know if I want to back a second one already? Some of these companies need to calm down a bit and give people a chance to play your games. I want to support you, but I want to make sure I like it too. Don't rush me. Again, I backed Luddite at $1. I had to change my pledge because I backed at the full £35, but it'll have to wait for the pledge manager for me to pick up a full copy. I backed Stalker at the Explorer pledge. I want to grab the extra content and gameplay stuff, but again, that'll have to happen in the PM if possible. I'm beginning to sound like a broken record, I'm sorry. I backed Hexplore at Fall of the Ancients with an early ship Realm Crosser pledge. This is a game I almost jumped on the last time it was on crowdfunding, but I didn't have time to really investigate it. I'm excited to finally get to dive into this one. The Hunter's AD 1492, I got the Hunter's Pledge and the Hero set. I have the first game in the series, and while I haven't played it, I've watched enough to know that I'll enjoy it, and I like the medieval and fantasy time period on this one, so this can only be better for me. Finally, I got Maladam Dungeons of Enveron at the Maladam Combined Pledge. This is another one I'll be grabbing everything in the Pledge Manager if possible. So what I skipped or canceled? It's always hard to make this list because the FOMO bubbles up again. First, the big one. I passed on the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. I just didn't have the funds for it. Unless CTG decides to make my year and send me a copy to review, I'll be getting a copy once it hits the web store. I also sadly skipped on Firefly. I didn't need it, and that's a lot of game for something I'm not sure who I'd play it with. I skipped on the DEI reprint for the same reason. Love the game, just don't know if I can get them tabled anytime soon. One of the harder ones that still bugs me that I had to skip was Warcrow Adventures. I tried everything to make it work, but I couldn't fit it in my budget. I had everything in my cart so many times trying to scrape together the funds, and time just ran out. This one has really caused some FOMO for me. Finally, I canceled my Studium Pledge. It was an expensive gamble that I just didn't need to take, and now I couldn't have afforded. If the game comes out and it's great and communication becomes clear, I'll absolutely be there to grab a reprint and everything I can get my hands on. So what have I painted? Well, it should come as no surprise that I'm a terribly slow painter. I actually have been painting quite a bit more the past few weeks, but I really haven't finished much. I did do a bit more work on the Argo, and I really need to bite the bullet and just finish it soon. I've begun painting out some of our Warhammer armies. I'm starting with a sample paint job for each army to build my palette and really see how I want to paint them. I'm hoping they'll go faster from there. I've also continued to work on my hero from Madara, Zeke. This is another project I need to buckle down and just finish to get off my list. So game room updates. Not much going on here right now. I've been working on my lighting setup, and now that I have an umbrella for the lighting, I'm starting to get things like I like it. I just got too big of an umbrella, so maybe in the future I can get a smaller one. What have I been playing? Madara mostly. We've had a few game days devoted to nothing but Madara, and we're trying to make them a pretty regular occurrence now. It's great to have something to look forward to. I've been doing a full playthrough of The Witcher 3 and all the DLC. I think I'm a bit over halfway through the main game as of right now, and wow, there's so much going on and so many different story threads to get lost in. I love it. Channel updates. Let's start off with some good news. The channel has officially broken 1,800 subs several times now. I seem to be teetering on the edge, and I'm holding my breath, hoping it'll keep going up and not back down. I'm so thrilled we've gotten so high. Thank you to everyone who's joined us lately. I've also started to get some more of the video types that I wanted to make out. More unboxings, I still want to do more previews, and possibly even some more how-to-plays. How-to-plays really are a special beast though. I loved working on the one for Phantom Epoch, but they take a lot out of me. In the future, I'll only do these on my schedule and for games that I really want to do. This is one of those rare instances where I'd say if I were going to do one by request, I would charge for it. Working on a tight schedule is fine, but my preference is to do things at my speed. These videos, more than most, eat time. I probably spent 40 to 60 hours working on the Phantom Epoch video. It just wouldn't make sense to push everything aside and make one on request for nothing. I feel if other content's gonna suffer, it needs to be worth it. That being said, I'll say again, I love doing the Phantom Epoch one and I'm so glad I did it. I learned so much that I can use going forward, and I have some cool ideas on how to better present and animate those videos that I'll be working on the side. And also, if I were to ever charge for a video, it would absolutely be made very clear and evident. I don't want any confusion around that. So from here, it's going to get a little heavy. This is your fair warning. If you're not here for that, please skip on ahead to goals. I'm telling this all because it helps to get it off my chest, and hopefully it'll add some context to why I'm working with a slow and steady method for growing the channel. Okay, now on to the hard topic. This last year, the last 12 months, have easily been the hardest months of my life. I finally came to grips with the fact that I'm suffering from depression. I clawed my way out of a hole to find help when I realized I no longer cared about living. Thankfully, I found it. This year, my finances have been stretched. We replaced an air conditioning unit for the house. I'm stuck under some gross medical bills, and things just mounted up and up. We had a small house fire that thankfully only caused minimal damage to a single room. I lost my mother back on Thanksgiving. Coming to terms with that has been hard, and I don't know if I'll ever truly be over it. Week before last, I was blindsided and lost my job. This isn't a sob story. This isn't a pity party. There are others much more deserving of your pity. This is me providing context. So now the real work begins. Again, I'm looking for a new job, the next step in my career where hopefully I can find a company that takes care of their employees, respects them, and invests in them. I test software for a living. Thankfully, people are always looking for QA engineers with my skill set. I'll be alright, but it couldn't have come at a worse time. My wife and I were already discussing whether it made more sense for her just to stay home from Gen Con so we wouldn't have to board our dogs and we could save some money. A good friend who was going to be watching the cats already said she could look after the dogs too. Pretty much the next day I found out that I was out of a job. So obviously the responsible thing, when money is already extremely tight, was to cancel the trip to Gen Con altogether. It sucks. I mean, it really sucks. I haven't been able to take an honest vacation away from home in 5 years due to taking care of my mother. And then this happens. I'm gutted. And sadly, to add insult to injury, it's so late that getting refunds on everything is tough, if not impossible. I still have to pay for a night at a hotel I won't be staying at. And all the tickets we bought for things like Live Dungeon and Warhammer Killzone are still up in the air. I don't know if I can even get credit back for some of those tickets. All told, I'm out $1,000 or more for a vacation I can't take at a time when money's precious. So that's why Gen Con's canceled for me. It's a huge hit to the channel. I'd lined up quite a few interviews, talks with publishers, and demos that I won't be able to cover. I've let everyone know, and thankfully I hadn't finished reaching out to people that I wanted to talk to while I was there. Hopefully some of them will be kind enough to give me a rain check for the future. The channel will continue though. But as I transition into whatever's next, I may hit some speed bumps along the way. I fully intend to stay true to course though. Bare minimum, I'll focus on getting news out until things slow down. Perhaps I'll find an even better rhythm for things and videos will flow much more easily. Only time's gonna tell. This past month, I launched an Etsy store to start raising some money for that new camera so it doesn't fall only to my Patreons and donations to fund it. That's still happening. The money's set aside and will continue to grow. The Etsy store has some miniature storage boxes for magnetized miniatures for sale, and in the next day or so, maybe even before I get this video out, I'll have my first ATO luxury tile box up for sale. This has been a really fun project, and now that I have the first one done, I should be able to recreate it a bit faster for the next few. They won't be cheap. A lot went into making this first one, and they take a bit of time to stain, paint, and assemble. If you're interested in one and the store's sold out, make sure and send me a message. I'll be making more available as soon as I have time to make them. This is only the first of hopefully many fun pieces of merchandise that I'll be adding there. I'll be sure and keep everyone up to date when I add new stuff. So enough with the updates, on to my goals. I'm keeping it simple for now. Get a job, keep the videos coming, and keep my spirits up. In the way of upcoming videos, I have a few things in mind. I have a preview coming up for Rogue Angel's Legacy of the Burning Suns, which will be relaunching soon. I want to get an unboxing done for Aeon Trespass Odyssey. I'm going to do an unboxing and a combining video for Euthia Torment of Resurrection and its Legendary Collection box. There, that sounds like a good list to work towards. Of course, I'll be getting all the normal stuff out too. Upcoming campaigns, news, etc. So what am I excited for? I'm excited for Celestial. It's easily one of my most anticipated games left coming up still this year. I just hope it isn't too soon. I need to find a job first. Another right up there with it is Rogue Angels. I was excited about it the first time it was on Kickstarter. After playing it, I'm way more excited to see it return, and I know it'll fun this time around. This game is amazing. So dang, that was a lot of month in review. I really need to get back to getting these out more regularly. Sorry to drop so much personal crud on you all, but I wanted to give context to why I'm not getting to Gen Con and why things may change a bit around here. Stick with me if you will. Things will only get better from here on out. Thanks to everyone watching, commenting, and supporting the channel. Keep those comments coming. They're really a bright spot for me. Have a great week, great month, and let's do this again sooner next time.